Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I have two cute, fast baby cards to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's Stitched Hexagon dies, the Scalloped Hexagon dies, our Scalloped Oval, our Stitched Oval dies, our Panel dies, our Snips and Snails stamp set, along with odds and ends from Doodlebug in Bundle of Joy and Special Delivery, the 6-inch pads. And then I'm using Doodle Pops. One's called Sweet Girl and the other one's called Baby Steps. So I went ahead and I've got a piece of Paper Tray Ink Lovely Lady cardstock. That's that pink cardstock cut at 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches for a vertical A2 size card. And I cut paper from that Bundle of Joy 6-inch Doodlebug pad, 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I just chose two overall patterns for this. So there we are. So I'm putting those down. You notice that I'm working on a Stampin' Up! Pad like normal. Now I'm going to add a piece of cheapo Nina Solar Crest 65-pound paper on the inside. That's cut at 4 by 5.25 inches, just to give you somewhere to write. And of course I didn't line that up right. I'm using my ATG tape, as you could see. There we are. I'm going to add one to the center of each card. And there we are. So now I'm going to add a strip of paper to the inside of each. That's just 1 inch of paper. I like to use my scraps for this kind of stuff, but I like to use a different pattern too. So that's what I was going for here. So I'm adding one strip, and then I will cut off the overhang with a pair of scissors. So this is just easy peasy stuff. And you know, every once in a while, I like to pull out my Doodle Pops from Doodlebug. They're just fun to use. And I also use the odds and ends in this. And it's lots of fun. Using Jaded Blossom stamps and dies, it just makes it perfect. So I chose these pretty big images from the odds and ends Bundle of Joy set. And I'm just sticking those to the interior of my cards with some art glitter glue. So I'm kind of having them off to the side. There we go. And I've also got my Secure White Jelly Roll pen in a number 10. And I'm going to add a few freckles, a few little highlights, you know, just to make it look a little bit more special like I always do. I just think this is an adorable image. Would have been super cute on a card, but I like to use these odds and ends on the inside of my cards. I just think that they look great in there, and it really dresses Doodlebug cards up. There we are. So now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I'm not going to have a sentiment on the front of the card. I'm just having it on the inside of the card, and it will say, "Welcome, baby." So I'm using my Misty and my VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink, and I'm just going to stamp that. Now remember, you want to stamp it, you want to press well, but you don't want to squish the letters. So you're much better stamping it a couple of times than stamping it and pushing really hard, because you know you could sort of make the font fatter than it should be. And if the sentiment is really small, you know, you're going to obscure some letters, so you don't want to do that. I find that, you know, if you just lightly stamp it a couple of times, you're in much better shape. Now I'm going to add a little tiny soother to the inside of each one. That's also from that odds and ends Bundle of Joy set. So there we go. So now I'm going to be adding on some paper to the bottom of this card. So what I did is I cut it at 2.5 inches. There we go. And then I will cut off the overhang, and I'm going to do the same to both. So I'm having stripy paper on the bottom of both. That's from that same pad. You'll notice I've got a Post-it note on the inside. That is just to avoid smearing that sentiment that I just stamped, because you know it takes a while for that to dry. And I do peel that off and use them again and again, so it's not really wasteful. There we go, just trimming off the overhang with my scissors. There we go. And now I'm pulling out my stitched panel dies from Jaded Blossom. Now this is a different way to use them, but I thought this works really well, and that way I have a nice thick border with stitching. And because the center is being covered up on both, I used two. Just, you know, I could have used one and a bit, but I just thought, I'll just use two. And this paper was cut from, I believe, the Special Delivery 6-inch pad. There we go. And you know, that's a nice thing about Doodlebug papers. They all kind of match together, right? And all of them go great with Jaded Blossom products. So now I went ahead and I cut the oval out of a nice pattern from that same pad. That is a 3.75 inch oval, roughly, in height. And then I cut out the 3 3/8 inch roughly height of that hexagon die, and then the scalloped is the 3 7/8 inches roughly, and then the oval is the scalloped oval is 4.25 inches roughly tall. So there we go, and I used the same Lovely Lady cardstock from Paper Tray Ink for the background, as you can see. There we go, and I'm just trying to line it up so it's even. This is the way to make the fastest card in the West, people, I think anyway. Now I could have used a sentiment on the front, but I decided to skip it and just have one in the center. There we go, just trying to get things centered. There we are. So now I'm using my Doodle Pops. So this one is called Sweet Girl. And I'm going to stick that down. There we go. Fun stuff. And then the other one's called Baby Steps. The actual numbers will be listed on my blog. There's a code number for each of them, and I will have that written down. And then I'm going to add in the little decorations. You want to peel off any little white sticker pieces from the inside. And I kind of frame what I have going on. You know, framing that center image is what I'm doing. So I add the 3. And then there you go. So I think this is super, super cute stuff. There we go. So now I'm going to pop on 3 little flowers on one. That's from that Odds and Ends Bundle of Joy set. And the hearts are also from that Odds and Ends Bundle of Joy set. So I'll add 3 hearts on one and 3 flowers on the other one. And I'll be popping those up, as you could see, with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, just for a little bit of dimension. There we are. Isn't that cute? So now I'm going to pull out my glossy accents that I have in a little bottle. And I'm just going to add some glossy accents to those odds and ends, just to give them a little bit of dimension and shine. I find that, you know, it just makes all the difference when you're using these little odds and ends, just so they're not so flat looking, although they are adorable. So, you know, you can do whatever you'd like with that. But now I'm going to add some Nouveau Crystal drops in Simply White, and I'm going to add those to the center of each of the flowers. There we go. And then I will also add some you know, surrounding my image. You'll notice that I also used some glossy accents on a couple of the little pieces that came with the Doodle Pops that were flat, like they weren't shiny. There we go. And now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add the Simply White Nouveau Crystal drops, just straddling the image, odd numbers, all those fun details, right? And then there we go. And I'd like to sort of slap it down just so my little droplets dome nicely. Now I'm going to add a few little highlights to my little images with my Secure White Jelly Roll pen, like I said. And isn't that cute? Just so cute. I added the highlights actually to their eyes with Nouveau Crystal drops and Simply White, and I just used a bamboo skewer to sort of tap them on. So that is also, thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog. Be inspired, the Jaded Blossom store, to get your hands on some amazing products, dies and stamps and stencils. And that is it. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon in my next video. Bye, everyone.